Hello, my friends. How are you? This is Flosstube 48, or maybe it should be number 1, since I seem to be starting all over again. I don't remember how to do this. So bear with me as it seems to be an experiment in starting. I don't know. For those of you that are new here, or maybe you've been here before and you just forgot, my name is Michelle. I'm Penny's daughter Shares, and this is my Flosstube. I talk primarily about cross stitch, but it can involve all things crafty, and today will be all cross stitch. How are you? I am really good. I have been really good this whole time I've been sort of missing in action. I think maybe where I should start is with maybe a quick reintroduction. See, this, like I said, this is starting over and I have to learn to talk again. Let me start with a quick reintroduction for those who forgot, because, you know, it's been a while. And for those of you that may be finding me for the first time. Like I said, my name is Michelle. I live in Michigan. I'm actually in the northern Metro Detroit area. And I live with my husband of almost 25 years. Holy smokes, I can't believe it's been that long. And we have 3 kids. We have Mitchell, who is, I'll give you an update on in a minute and tell you how old he is. And Justice, who is in his first year at high school. And Vivian, who is in 7th grade. And I think, is that a good enough quick reintroduction? I guess maybe also I'll explain my Flosstube name really quick. So Penny's daughter Shares. My mom's name was Penny. And I lost her at a really young age. There's a picture of her and I at my college graduation right there in the bottom corner. And that's who I learned all my craftiness from, cross stitch in particular. And I loved her a lot, obviously. She was my best friend. I know it's cliche, but it's true. And it just felt like a good way to honor her, because I don't get to share this with her directly. And by sharing with all of you, then I feel like I'm sharing it with someone special. And I have really missed doing that. Like I feel really out of practice. My brain, I'm moving slowly, taking long pauses. I'll try to keep it going. My goal today also is I am going to attempt to take this in one straight shot and not spend a lot of time on editing, because that's a bit of the hurdle of getting back in the saddle with these, is the time it takes to video and then edit and upload and everything. So I'm trying to streamline it a little bit, and it may look a little different than you've seen before. Okay, I think that's enough reintroduction for now. I will move on to thanking all of you that took time to email me or message me and say, hey, where are you? Are you okay? And I'm going to give you a life update, try to make it quick. But everything's been actually really good. It's just a whole lot of stress. So I think it was March, the last time I did a video. And since then, the first big life event that happened was Mitchell graduated from college. Yay! And so we celebrated that while, you know, gearing up toward the end of his college career. I don't know if it's over yet. We'll see. But for the moment, the end of his college career, he was also interviewing for jobs. And he ended up getting, and these are his quoted words, the cream of the crop of what he would have chosen as a job from his major. So he has been there for several months and really enjoys it. And I think he would still tell you that same quote, that it was what he would have chosen if he could have chosen anything. So Dad and I are having what do I want to say? We're trying to adjust to the fact that work life is very different from what we had when we were his age. You know, he works remotely sometimes, he only works in the office sometimes, and then some of the other benefits that he gets. It's awesome and it's wonderful. I think it's great, but it's an adjustment for us to sort of understand, I guess. So that was a big deal. And then the really big news, and this is wonderful. Jeff and I made the decision together, and it took several months to make the decision and to make plans for it ahead of time. But he decided, or we decided together, but he left his job and started his own business. It's something we've talked about for a long time, off and on, and things just got to a point where it was time. And so we made those decisions, and we just had to go through the leaving the job, which was more complicated than just giving a 2-week notice. Not that that's ever easy, but this was even more complicated. And then the complications, challenges of starting a new business. Like I said, it was a long time coming. Best decision we've made for this purpose. And I'm happy to even share that the business is going even better than we could have hoped. Not meeting our expectations or even just exceeding expectations. I'm talking exceeding even our hopes. Again, thanks for anyone that checked in. I really appreciated it. And just a few minutes in, and I already had to pause the video because I had a total brain blank moment and was reading my notes for much too long for you to sit and watch. To pick up where I left off, I wanted to say that I stitched my way through all of this stress. And when I say stress, it is and was very stressful, but in very wonderful ways. So even though I needed that stitch, and the act of stitching kept stitching me back together, it was all for good. So I have lots and lots and lots of stitching to share. I'm not going to share all of it today. I'm just going to share a selection today because, well, remember I mentioned the overwhelm part of putting together a video. If I tried to include everything I've stitched, it would be an enormously long video. And I don't know, are you ready for that much of me again already? Maybe not. So we're going to talk a selection of stitching. Yeah, we're going to talk a selection of stitching. You guys, seriously, I feel so out of practice and feel like I have to keep stopping and thinking so much. You are here mostly, I think, to see some stitching, not to hear me ramble on about my life. But let's get into the stitching. That's much easier for me to talk about because I don't forget things and I don't have a blank brain because I have notes. We are going to start with an FFO. Disclaimer, this is the only FFO I've done this year. Remember the FFO Challenge 2023 that Jen of Two Tall Stitchers and I did? Yes. Apparently that was too much for me and I haven't been able to FFO anything. No. I think it was all the stress and just the stitching itself. That's what I needed. And I'm hoping to get back to doing some FFOs before the end of this year. And talking to you all about it too. So let's talk this first FFO, which I no longer have because it was a gift. So I'll start by, I'll show you the chart picture, and then I'll have to insert a picture of the final product and I can talk about it. So here is the chart picture, and it is Hey Friend, which was the Nashville 2023 freebie from Teresa Kogut. You can still find this, just Google it. And is it on her website? I think so. I don't know. If you Google it, you can find it very easily. And you can see that front picture. I made some changes. And the reason was because, like I said, it was a gift. And here is the picture of the final product. And now I'll talk about it some. Whew, this practice is tough. So the gift, I made it for who is affectionately known as Indie Jen in my household. That's Jen, who is part of Jen and Carol, Two Tall Stitchers. She's also jenquilter on Instagram. And for those of you that have been around for a while, you know that I had a really big birthday last year. And Jen and my husband totally surprised me that I got to meet Jen. She met up with us and I got to spend a weekend with her and we stitched. So she in turn had her big birthday this year in August. And if you're not watching Two Tall Stitchers on Flosstube, why? Go follow them and watch them. But if you do follow them, then you've already seen this and know some of the story of why it is. So Jen had her own big birthday and I wanted to make her something special for it. So this is what I found. And like I said, you can see that what I stitched, I personalized it quite a bit. So let me give you sort of the basics and then talk some of the details. I stitched this on 40 count light nougat from xjudesign, and that means that I used one floss thread over 2 linen threads. And I used some called for colors, but very few. I chose specific colors to try to match Jen's hair and my hair, and I think it turned out pretty good. I also made some changes to Jen's hair because, you know, her hair is shorter. She doesn't really wear a ponytail. So I wanted to give her her own true hair. And then, you may or may not know, my favorite color is green. Jen's favorite color is purple, but she also loves green. So I chose a palette of green and purple to do our clothing because those are favorites. And let's see, I'm looking at my notes because I'm not looking at the actual thing to try to remember what else I may have changed. I think those were my main changes, were the color palette and then the hair. I told you the fabric. Yeah, so, okay. Then obviously to FFO it, I framed it. So that means I laced it on the back and put it in this frame. I found these frames on Amazon and I thought it went really well with it. I added the kind of jute twine on the piece to give it a little extra something, but also to make it feel like it fit the frame really well. And then I added a 2024 charm and a penny charm that my husband helped me drill. And that is actually a 1974 penny for Jen's birthday. So I really loved stitching this. I really love how it turned out. And for being my only FFO, I think I did a pretty good job this year with that one. Okay, I feel really out of practice. Did I forget to tell you things? I don't think so, but so that is Hey Friend from Teresa Kogut. And like I said, it was the Nashville 2023 freebie. That wraps up FFOs. Let's move on to finishes that I'm going to share with you today. And I have a total of 6. I'm going to start with a very big finish. And as I show it to you, I'll talk more about it. So here is the chart picture. It is Modern Folk Embroidery, AKGIT 1833. This I started as part of the Back to School sale. I don't know that I really stuck with it. I mean, I didn't even start it when that hashtag started, but you know, hey. So when I saw this when it was released, I just fell in love with it. It is by far the largest thing I've ever stitched. But I had so much fun with it. Okay, let's see my finish, which you've seen already a little bit. I have it clipped to an enormous piece of poster board because it's the only thing that was big enough. And okay. Well, let's start by showing you the whole thing. And then I'll move it in closer and such. I'm trying to sit in a chair and I don't have as much freedom of movement today. All right. Well, that's the whole thing. I'm going to hold it in a little closer. So you're only going to see parts of it for now, but then I can talk about it and I'll move it around some. So I stitched this on 40 count rustic driftwood from xjudesign. Those of you that have been around know that is one of my favorite linens. And I just love Jucus's linen. It stitches so beautifully. It's just so calming and joyful when I'm stitching on her linen. I love the feel of it. I stitched this entirely using Classic Colorworks Black Coffee. Again, if you've been around, you know that is one of my favorite flosses to use. So I thought that was a perfect choice for this enormous piece since I love it so much. I ended up using, I made a note here, 20 skeins of black coffee. Did I say I stitched 1 floss thread over 2 linen threads? I can't remember. And I was going to give you dimensions, and I don't have them right here written down, so I can't help you with that. I can. If you need to know dimensions, drop me a message on Instagram or send me an email. I'm happy to share that information. I'll look it up for you. I stitched this mostly as it was charted. I did make a couple of changes, and I'm gonna say, I think all of the changes that I made, I had them kind of in mind anyway from the moment I started this piece, but I saw Katie Strachan. I'm sorry, Katie, if you're watching this and I'm pronouncing your name totally wrong. I apologize. Anyway, I saw her stitched finish on Instagram, and she showed a couple of the changes that she made on there, and I followed suit because I liked the way she had done it. So one thing I changed was I did not stitch the AKGIT in the 1833 because I stitched this, and so I wanted it to be for me and my family. So what I did instead was, that's where that was supposed to be, or where it's charted, and I instead stitched a J for Jeff, an M for Michelle, and then I have Mitchell, Justice, Vivian. So I used our 5 initials. And, you know, in these older samplers, there's not J's. All I did was turn around L, I think. And it worked out and looks like a J. So I did that. Now this, I can't remember if Katie changed that or not. So don't quote me on that one. The one I know for sure she did change was she put a year, and this is the location she put the year on hers, which is the bottom right corner. So 2024 is when I finished. So I stitched that in there. And then I added my initials, sort of like my little signature initials. Again, I don't think Katie did that. But I really wanted to have my sort of signature initials on this too, because it's such a big piece. So, I mean, this was our whole family represented, but I just wanted my own little thing there. The other big change, and let me show you the chart picture one more time. If you look at the bottom, there is a whole alphabet, actually a couple of alphabets, if you look at that. And Katie had left those off. And to be honest, when I started this, I would have stitched it. When I saw hers, and I was like, oh, I like that, because, you know, we know that girls that stitched these way back when, generally it was a way of practicing their letters, right? And that bottom line feels like, I don't want to say not intentional, but that's sort of the feel it gave, I guess. I hope I'm explaining that okay and not being offensive. I didn't feel I needed it on my piece. So I decided to leave it off, especially after seeing Katie's and how good it looked, and it still looks finished. One thing I did consider was repeating this very top border all the way across the bottom. But then I decided, no, I didn't want to do that. To be honest, probably mostly because I didn't want to stitch on this anymore once I got done. I loved stitching this. And this piece is one of two very large pieces that I stitched my way through during the leaving the job and starting the new business and all of the things that were involved with that. There were days and it was just having only one color, and the way I stitched this, I stitched it in hand, means I stitch rather than in rows across. When I stitch in columns when I stitch in hand, and I have one of those magnet boards, you know, with the strip magnets, and I would just lay out my page that I was working on, and I would move that magnet across as I went column by column. And so it was very, well, it was soothing. What do I want to say? I didn't have to think a lot. I didn't have to make a lot of changes. You know, I didn't have to change my floss color or pay attention to that. I just got to stitch and stitch and stitch, and that's what I needed. And this piece was perfect for that. So that is, I think you can see it all. I'm trying really hard to, I'll show you a couple more close-ups here, but you can see all of those. Ah. It's so beautiful, isn't it? So this big, beautiful piece I plan on framing. I need to get a frame for it. I'll frame it myself. I'm capable. And to be honest, I don't know that I would feel comfortable leaving this anywhere or shipping it off somewhere. So those of you that are able to do that, can you explain to me how to be okay with that? Maybe I'll try it someday. But yeah, so I want to get a big chunky black frame on this. I think it deserves it. So yeah, that is AKGIT from Modern Folk Embroidery. And one of my favorite things I've stitched so far. So let me just set this aside. Ooh, how was that? How was that view? Kind of strange. All right, I think I have that steady now. Let's move on to the next finish I'm going to share with you. So these next finishes are actually recent finishes, and I'm trying to think, was it the beginning of September? Yeah, end of August, beginning of September, I was like, I want to stitch fall. Give me all the fall, which is, as most people say, their favorite. It's my favorite, and I can't get enough of it. I don't even know how many whips I have that are fall. I didn't count them to tell you, but a lot. So I was just going on about my business, getting through some fall stitching, which was very lovely. I'm going to start by showing you what these are housed in. This awesome project bag from Jenni at Patchwork and Poppies. And you're probably thinking, that doesn't look like a fall project bag. Well, that is true. And the reason is, this houses two projects I'm going to show you I finished the fall pieces, but they had 4 seasons worth of charts. And so I kept them all kitted up together in this bag that I thought was multi-seasonal. So up first is Betsy's Autumn Basket from Pansy Patch. And I am working my way through all of these. In the interest of time, I'm not showing you all of them, but I actually have spring, summer, and fall all finished. I will share my other finishes as time goes on here. But for today, we're going to talk fall. Here is my awesome finish. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you, let me show you the chart picture one more time, is kind of a big change that I made to it. You can see there's a border on 4 sides, and I decided I just want to stitch the basket. So I am not stitching the borders on these. Sorry, I'm trying to put this back because I don't want to get everything mixed up that I have sitting here today. It would take me hours to put it back together. Okay, so here's my finish. I am stitching these on 40 count beige gray by, surprise, surprise, xjudesign. I love the color of this one. It's like gray and brown and love, love. And it goes so well with all the colors from all the seasons of this series. That's the word I wanted. So this is 40 count. That means 1 floss thread over 2 linen threads. I used all the called for colors, which is a mix of Gentle Arts, Weeks Dye Works, and Classic Color Works. And I'm going to say some of these colors are unusual fall colors for me to stitch. Usually there's a fairly standard palette, I would say, for most of the fall stitching that I do. Whoops. And this one has some different colors, and I loved every minute of it. Oh, I just love, 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 love it. So I think it's so pretty. Then I added my initials and the year there on the basket, or on either side of the basket. Now, my plan for fully finishing these, when I get them all done, I'm not sure if they're going to be pillows, or I might do some other sort of display piece that I can swap them out for this corresponding season. I'm gonna get them all done and then I'll make my decision. So yeah, that is Betsy's Autumn Basket from Pansy Patch. Love, love, love it. Oh, and to get ready for today, I even did some ironing. This was one of them that needed to be ironed. I had finished it, but hadn't ironed it. So pretty proud of myself for getting that done. Let's see. Okay, up next. This is from Seasons of the Heart book from With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And here is Autumn. And same with this one, it's in the same project bag. I kitted up all 4 seasons. I've done spring and summer. And fall that I'm going to show you. And when I'm working on showing you the other seasons at the same time, you'll see these also. So here is my finish on that one. This is on 40 count vintage country mocha. So 1 floss thread over 2 linen threads. And for it being kind of a, can I call vintage country mocha a basic? It's not hand-dyed, right? It's one of the basics that we pick up if we, it's still, I love stitching on it, right? It's, I don't know, it's comforting to stitch on. And I believe this is what is called for in her book. I stitched this using the called for threads, and you can see here I chose not to put the autumn tag on there. Instead I extended the border, which I know a lot of people have done, and I am really happy with that. I like that better. I didn't need the extra tag on there. So yeah, this was fun to stitch. Love me fall, love houses. Can't get enough. So that is Seasons of the Heart Autumn from Brenda Gervais. Oh, and same thing with this one. It's seasonal. I don't know, is it going to be pillows or is it going to be on a display piece, and I'll switch it out with the season. Again, I'm going to finish the 4th one and then make my decision and finish them all at the same time. Quick drink. A lot of talking is mouth gets dry, right? Okay. Up next. So this is my 4th finish that I'm sharing with you. Let's start with the chart picture. This is another set of seasonal series. This is Be Thankful with Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. I'm sure you've all seen it multiple times. And I don't remember the name of the charts for the spring and summer of this series, but I have those done. And actually, as I'm thinking about it, the winter one I have done and have had it done for quite a while. None of them are FFO'd. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Same exact description as I've given you twice now. Either it's going to be pillows or it's going to be some sort of a display piece, and then I can swap them out. Here is my finish. Now all 4 of these I ended up stitching on the same fabric, which is 40 count barley from Color and Cotton. I don't know if that's a regular color they offer. I got it when I was part of the monthly club. So I don't, like I said, it's such a lovely color and it stitches so beautiful with these colors. Let's see. This was stitched all, I'm sorry, I see a note here on my chart notes and I'm going, did I remember to put that floss color back with the project that I stole it from to finish this? I don't know. I'll have to look at that when I get done. Yeah, okay. I'm distracted. Stop, Michelle. 40 count Color and Cotton barley. That means 1 floss thread over 2 linen threads. Like I said, this is very complimentary to these colors. I used all the called for colors. I'm trying to remember, no. One of these in the series, like she suggests coffee, tea dyeing, some of the floss to tone down the colors, but I don't think this was one of them. So called for flosses. I think I told you the details. What's not to love? It's fall colors and the palette I love. And it's Brenda Gervais, which I love. And it has a house. And birds, which, thanks to Michelle, I have been stitching a lot or been very interested in stitching more of because of she enjoying stitching birds so much and creating a bird wall in her house. Added my initials down here where I kind of squeezed them in, but I think it looks good there. And yeah, so that's finish on Be Thankful from Brenda Gervais. Am I talking long, slow? Is it taking me too long to share these? I still am feeling very out of practice. All right. Another finish to share. You'll maybe sense a theme here. Another one from Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. This is Autumn Splendor. This came out last year for fall, and I fell in love with it and started it last year when I was doing all of my starting everything I wanted and celebrating my big birthday. I've tapered off on all those starts and I've been trying to finish some things now, but what that got me to do is I start things when I want to start them. If I have them kitted, I might as well start them, right? What's the difference if it's a kit or it's a whip? In the case of it being a whip, it means much more likely that I'll pick it up and work on it. So anyway, Autumn Splendor from Brenda Gervais. Oh, whoops, I need my notes. And you will, well, let me show you this and explain to you what is going on here. Here is my beautiful finish. This is on 40 count Steinbeck from Needle and Flax. My other very favorite linen, and I love this color, which I had just a very small scrap of left in my linen library. And thank goodness when Rachel uploaded some smaller cuts of linen on her site, I was able to get a half yard of this because this color is awesome. Love, love, love. I stitched this using the called for threads. Yes. Speaking of which, 40 count means 1 floss thread over 2 linen threads. And it was all Weeks Dye Works. Now the one thing that I changed is, I don't remember what it is. She suggests tying the bow around the bird. I had some DMC pearl cotton, and that color worked perfectly. So that's why the long strings. Until I get it fully finished, I'm not going to trim those off because I'm going to want to adjust the bow a little bit or whatever. So I left it long. So yeah, so that is Autumn Splendor from Brenda Gervais. Oh, and the FFO. I actually have a plan for this one. I have this cute little board. It's like the perfect size for this. And it's thick enough, it'll stand up. I got this from Jenni at Patchwork and Poppies. I don't know if she has any left, but I've been wanting to find something that fits on this. I love this board and the shape of it and stuff. So that's where that's gonna go. Probably some trim, something tied around the top. You know, we'll figure that out when I put it together. Let me set that aside, and Remember, I got distracted with that color. Let me set that note aside so I remember to look for that and make sure that that floss ended up back in the original project. So when I pick up that project, I'm not cussing at myself because I can't find the floss that I need. I almost never do that, but that must have been a color I couldn't find to purchase at a certain, when I needed it. But I knew I had some somewhere, and so I snagged it. Anyway, you don't want to hear all of that. Whatever. All right, last finish. And this was actually a start and a finish. I've been dying to stitch this ever since I got it. So this is, what's it called? As the Crow Flies Pinkeep from Stacy Nash. And this I purchased as a kit from Hobbyhouseneedleworks. I don't know if they have any kits anymore. They might sell just the chart. I can't remember. So I apologize if you fall in love with it and you can't get it. But that's where I got it. And this is thanks to Michelle again, Bird. And she told me where it was. And so I went and purchased it at that time. When was that out? I don't remember when it came out. It's been a while. And it, like, this looks fall to me, but it, if I remember right, it didn't come out in fall. Anyway, I don't remember. Life has been lived, and I can't remember every chart, right? Okay. So let's get on with this, Michelle. Let's see the finish. So the chart, it came with linen and floss, called for, and then it also came with, oh, there it is. It came with, and what does she call it? It's Dames of the Needle crinkle ribbon. I know different dyers call it different things. So that you could turn this into a pillow and use this, ruche it on the edges, which I plan to do because I have the coordinating crinkle ribbon and I love that look. So why wouldn't I do it that way? Although I've seen people frame this and it looks so awesome. So I don't know. Okay, here's the finish. I love this. Love, 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 love. Loved stitching it. I am learning that borders are time-intensive stitching components. Like I look at the border and I go, oh, that shouldn't take too long. It's spread out stitches and yeah, I got a couple changes in color, but you know, shouldn't be too long. Days of stitching. So love the color palette of this. Love the bird, the fall motifs, the house. Love, love it. The flowers, love everything about it. This is stitched on. Now, I think this is what it is because that's what it said was called for and it was part of the kit. 35 count Cosmic Platinum by Dames of the Needle. And I loved stitching on this and I love how it looks. I think I need to get some more of this linen and put it in my linen library for some other stitches. I don't know, I just love it. I think it, first of all, it complements this design. Oh, what a surprise when it's the called for and the designer designed it that way. Of course it's gonna look fantastic, right? And then the called for flosses, that's what I use. They're all Weeks Dye Works. I did make one change and I got the idea because I saw someone else's finish and they talked about this same thought that I had, but the color called for the bird is the same as the keys and this little urn pot down here. And I don't know if it's coming across on the camera, but they're kind of blue. For me, especially, it's too blue for a bird. So I pulled out my old standby favorite, Black Coffee from Classic Colorworks, and that's what I stitched the bird in. I think it turned out lovely. So yeah, love this stitch. It was so much fun. And when you just decide to start the things you want to start, that's how you end up stitching these wonderful, awesome things. So As the Crow Flies, Pinkeep from Stacy Nash. And Hobby House Needleworks. All right, so that's the finishes that I am sharing today. And actually that's all of that would wrap up like all my recent fall finishes. So that's what I tried to do to sort of narrow down all of the stitching that I've done in all these months. I tried to go with the fall theme, but I wanted to share the big one. And obviously my one and only FFO of the year. Let me change my page on my notes. I don't know if it's going to stay up like that. We're going to set it aside. Okay. Up next is I have one whip that I'm going to share with you. And it is housed in another gorgeous bag from Jenni at Patchwork and Poppies. And by the way, I'll link her shop down below. She has 2025 bag of the month listing up live on her site. So if you wanted to sign up for any of those months, you can head over and do that. So this bag, the colors are perfection it makes me very excited that it's so coordinated with this project. Let me show you what this is. It is Golden Delicious from the Artsy Housewife. And I fell in love with this when she released it. And I specifically fell in love with the dark version, which she has a separate chart for. But I loved it so much I couldn't wait for the release of that. So when I saw this one and I was able to get, I just bought it. And then I chose a darker fabric to stitch on than what the chart shows. And I am in love. All right, so let me show you where I'm at. Now this I did not iron because I'm currently working on it. So, and you can see the edge here is rolled up because that's how I roll everything up and hold it in my hand and stitch. So I'll try to see if I can show you. There we go. Here is where I'm at. Isn't it pretty? Love the colors. So now let me show you this. Right? It totally coordinates. Love that. And it wasn't planned. So I love it even more because it just worked out that way. All right, how am I stitching this? I am stitching this on 40 count dark khaki from xjudesign, 1 floss thread over 2 linen threads, and I am using all the called for colors except one. And for the black that you see, I'm actually using DMC 310. The called for was a Gentle Arts that was way too blue for me. Even 310 is showing a little bit blue on this fabric. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but I still am like, especially this border on the side, it is throwing some blue tones. And then I remind myself with the called for color just how blue it could be. So I'm good. It worked out good. It's just that I can remember back when I started this, which was, I don't remember, last fall? I think it was late last fall when I started it. And I started with this border. Well, I like the black part of that border so much, I stitched it 3 times. The first time with the called for color and did not like it. I think that's how it went. Yes. And then I think I counted wrong the second time I stitched it, which I think I had switched the color, but then I stitched it wrong, miscounted. So I had to tear it out. And then I finally got it stitched correctly. So when I was working on this top border, I did it the smarter way. I stitched, there's like 1 color inside here and then 2 rows on either side of that to create that border. I stitched the inside part first and then went back through and outlined it. Much easier. Okay. The other, I don't want to call it a complaint, but that's what's going to come out because I don't know a better word, is the border. The border as a whole, oh my gosh. I thought a couple days and I'd have the border done. No. Days and days. And every day I'd be like, oh, well, I can get to this point. No. And it took me, this was all I stitched on. And the border I had this side done. I had to do all the way across the top and then all of these big flowers. And I'm going to say that was like 9 days of stitching. 9, yeah. Now, there's a whole lot of stitches in there. And I go, well, and a lot of color changes. Of course, it took a while. Like I said, I'm learning. Borders take a long time. The results are worth it, right? But I'm just, it took so long. So, but then, and as I kept working on it, it's like, maybe I should move to something else or change projects, change what I'm stitching on this project. But I was like, no, if I put it down, I don't know when I'll pick it back up. So I'm just going to keep pushing myself and get it done. So that's what I did. So that's where I'm at. And I'm going to say this one is far enough along that I don't think I can put it down and not finish it. So I know some of you are not tougher than me, but more disciplined, is that the right word, than I am, and you're able to kind of set stuff aside when you feel like it or when you're fairly close to the end and you're okay with putting it away. And I just can't. I get to a certain point of no return. Here we are. I'll finish it. So, and This is such fall colors, but then as I'm stitching it, I don't know if this is one that will stay out only during fall, or if this will be a out all the time piece. I'm not sure. I haven't decided. It'll probably depend on how I decide to fully finish it when I get done. So yeah, that is Golden Delicious from the Artsy Housewife. And it's in all its gorgeous fall color glory. All right, where are we at? Oh, we're nearing the end. I feel like I've been talking a really, really long time, and it's not really been that long. All right, so the last thing I want to go over are, I'm going to call it plans / purchases / fall stitching loves. So this is not a complete list of what I have. I'm not showing you any of my other fall whips that I have started right now. There's several. I'm sure I have several more kitted up. These are recent purchases, and some will, well, so I'll just talk about it as I'm showing you. I'll start some of them. Some of them are probably just going to get put into the kitting process and probably plan to work on next year. So I hold these in another Jenni bag. Oh, and this was one of her like ready-made bags that she posted up, and I fell in love with the fabrics online, and then I got it, and it's such more, I don't know how else to say it, but grungy and deeper, richer colors than what I thought the picture online showed, and I loved it even more. So yeah, love this one. All right, let me show you my favorite purchase, my recent purchases. And everyone I watch on Flosstube is showing this too. So I'm not alone. Feels like fall from Brenda Gervais. I can't wait to start this. I mean, it's a Quaker, it has a bird, it's fall colors, it has a house, and it says, I love fall most of all. How can I not love it? Oh! Yeah, I'll probably make myself finish Golden Delicious, and then I'm going to start this. And then we'll see if I can stand to put it down. I have it all kitted up, and if you're familiar with Country Sampler, you know what their kits look like. So yes, this one I decided to just buy the whole kit from them because a lot of Brenda's colors are shared across different charts, right? But this one I knew, we'll just get it all kitted up. And then I can share some of these colors with other projects. So that was Feels Like Fall. Then the other ones I have to show you, I don't have kitted up. I just fell in love with them. So this is a mini Brenda Gervais fall release parade. Because here is Autumn's Swan. And I also purchased, is it Summer's Swan? Summer Swan? Anyway, it seems like this is becoming a series, and I am all for it. The swans, oh my gosh. And this one, I love the colors. I mean, look at those pumpkins. I can't wait to stitch them. They have like patterns on them. Oh, just love it. Then there's Goodness Gracious. So cute. Now I may decide not to stitch the words. I don't know. It's such a cute phrase, but then I just love the pumpkin planter and the witch. So I don't know. We'll see. I got some time. And then woodland witch. This is so cute. Oh. Honestly, I could just sit and start things like. And then this one is not Brenda Gervais. Primrose Cottage, the Halloween Quaker. I just fell in love with this one. I love the colors it's stitched in, and it's just so cute. And it's gonna make a really cute pillow, right, for fall displays. All right, so those are, you know, some bits of sort of plans. You know, will I get a wild hair? I don't know if that's the right phrase to use, but a wild hair, and I'll just start pulling out some more fall things that I have already started. It's October 1st today, yes. So I'm also like, oh, let's pull out some Halloween stitching too, because I've got some cute stuff that I have started, and cute stuff kitted up. So we'll see. We'll see where things take me. Maybe I'll deviate from my typical behavior and actually put down Golden Delicious before I finish it. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, that wraps up what I wanted to share today. Thanks so much for spending time with me. I'm sorry that I haven't been on here in quite a while, and I really did miss everybody. What I miss the most. Well, first of all, I get to talk and no one's telling me, okay, I've heard enough of it, Mom, or their eyes start to glaze over. I get to talk about these things that we love, right? And all of you who are watching want to hear what linen I'm using and how much I like stitching on it and what flosses I love and about these project bags and getting excited when they coordinate with my projects, right? That's why we do this and why it's fun. But my point, let's get back to that. What I miss the most is my communication with everybody. So when you leave me comments on the video, or you send me messages on Instagram, or you give me comments on Instagram, or you send me emails, I have missed that the most. I just had to cut myself off. I found myself babbling, and I've talked enough today. So I don't need to babble, and you don't need to hear it at all. So I'm going to attempt to wrap this up for like the third time. I am so out of practice. All right. Summarize and end, Michelle. Focus. Please leave me comments below because I have missed them and I would like to hear them, or send me messages or something. Just would love to hear from you again. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. And I'm not sure when I'll be back. I'm hoping it'll be soon. I don't know, life. That's the simple explanation. But I've really missed talking to everybody, and I want to get back to this on a regular basis because it makes me happy. And that's why I started doing it in the first place. So I hope you enjoyed seeing all of my stitching today. I had a lot of fun sharing it with you, even though I am out of practice. Thank you for sharing time with me today, and I will talk to you soon.